Drum roll, please.
Part II, Poppy War. Okay, let's do it. End scene. So we left off with her pledging lore. Now, some time has passed. Has some time passed?
Yeah, there's been a little bit of like...
Because she's now like some kind of rank, right?
She's a second year at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And they say the first years, know nothing about her, so they don't care about her.
Yeah. So anyways, pledged lore, which we already discussed. Part 2 starts off with some maritime military goodness going on.
Tyr.
Yes, Tyr, who works for the Empress, meets his final fate at the Empress's hand.
Well, powers. Not really her hand.
Well, you know what I mean. So, what's that all about? She just takes out her own people. Is it one of these, you no longer serve a purpose, I shall get rid of you now? So, in his passing, Alton, the god of the Academy, is now in charge of this division, which is known as the...
Psych?
See, I say Seek, a.k.a. the Bizarre Children. Because they're all a bunch of weirdos.
Mostly shamans.
Yeah, they're mostly shamans.
So they're kind of crazy.
Yep. They have powers of different varieties. Some call on gods. Rin. Alton. Some use, like, the water...
Are the water,
yeah. Is it a he or a she?
He.
It? I don't know. He is the water.
Well,
he lives in a barrel.
There's only like, maybe 2 that don't commune with gods?
Yeah.
The little kid that's the explosion expert.
He's a pyro. And then Quara, she talks to her birds.
That's a form of power, but...
Well, and she uses the birds to...
Scout.
Yes, that's the word I was looking for. Scout. For the army. Which, okay, by the way. You mentioned in the last part that Nakara has had a couple wars of the poppy variety. And they've struggled. Mm-hmm. Barely succeeded. And you know what? I can frickin' see why. Because all the divisions...
Too many chiefs, not enough Indians?
Exactly. They all want to be the number one. And nobody wants to associate with the Bizarre Children. Until something goes wrong, then they want to blame the Bizarre Children.
Well, and then, like, in this scenario, they got a brand new commander. Mm-hmm. That's not an easy thing. Right.
The Bizarre Children.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then, but one of the commanders of one of the other divisions is June, who was a professor at the academy.
The one that didn't like Ren.
Right. And apparently doesn't like Alton either. Based on the confrontations they've had in, like, military world.
Maybe he has a distaste for shamans.
Maybe.
Because remember, he hated Jiang too.
That's true. So anyways, I don't know if I mentioned, Rin gets assigned to the Bizarre Children. She really wanted to go somewhere else. To, like, a real division. But...
Well, this is after she called down the Phoenix.
Yeah, this is after she channeled the Phoenix because...
And couldn't control it.
In her second year at the academy, war has a skirmish. We won't call it a war. Skirmish has broken out.
There's a battle at Sengard.
And pretty much all the professors have to stop teaching and pick up their positions, and the students have to kind of step in and fight as well. And Nezha, who I did not care for in part 1, he ends up teaming up with Rin. But I think it's more of a, we're on the same side. We need to put our own problems aside for the moment because we're about to both lose our lives otherwise.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Right. So they team up and do some battling. But he ends up taking a pretty bad wound.
So she thinks she sees him die.
Jiang comes in. He, summons stuff that he says I'm not going to be able to control once it's unleashed.
Tells them to run. They don't get away fast enough. Rin freaking loses her ever-loving mind, channels the Phoenix, and just, lights the general who's targeting her on fire. Melted him.
Yes. And then I think she passes out. But she couldn't control it. She was thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to burn down everything.
Phoenix was having a field day.
So because of that, because it is an uncontrollable power, that's what gets her assigned to the Bizarre Children.
But if you look at Alton, he has, complete control over the fire.
Does he, though? I mean, he does. But here's the thing. When she first gets there, to the Bizarre Children, Alton takes on, this big brother role. I'm going to help you learn to control this. Alton has freaking mental health issues. They all do. But he tries to, when you first are, getting to know him a little bit more in part 2, he's, the only one that seems like he's really got some control because he talks one of his people off the ledge. Sonny's freaking...
The ape god was
he's
kinda...
in, what did Bobby used to say? Stars. He's in stars mode.
Just going off.
Yes.
No control.
Yes. So, but Alton talks him off the ledge. So he seems like he's got his junk under control. He's teaching Rin how to channel the power,
which isn't working, and control it once it is channeled. But since it's not working, he's getting frustrated. He is an ass. Let me just say that. This part 2, after it hits a certain point, I was angry. I wanted to consume Rin so I could speak for her, which she ended up saying it. I don't know if she said it to him or someone else, but I just wanted to consume her so she could, I gotta say it, fuck you! You know what I mean? Because he's, abusing her. Physically, mentally, emotionally. It's an abusive relationship.
He goes from this, I'm gonna be like your big brother, but since it's taking you a little bit longer, because she's scared, because the one time she did it before, she had no control over it whatsoever.
And you find out later that the spirit woman is blocking her.
Yeah. So he's just like, you're of no use. You claim to be a spearly. First of all, she never claimed it. All these people are putting this label on her, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, he's freaking ass. Which means, because in all of this, a new division shows up to this town that they're all the divisions are rallied at and protecting. It's a coastal city. Because they feel like this is where the Federation's going to go. The new division that shows up involves Nezha. It's his father's division. He is there as well. Oh, look, he survived. Which is a mystery because he really took a beating. But anyway, so he's there.
Well, remember what one of her psych friends said?
Yeah, something about a symbol. Because he had something on his jacket and Inky? Is that who it was?
I believe so. It said, I didn't know he was a shaman.
Yeah. So he managed to heal himself, join a real division, and now this division has arrived. And him and Rin have kind of made peace. I kind of like him now. But at the same time, I'm still a little hesitant because it's are you just trying to like Alton, he thinks that he's spying.
I kind of have that feeling at times too, because he's just being way too nice compared to how he was.
Too friendly?
Yes. So, but compared to Alton, see, I thought Nezha, I had no thoughts about Alton in part 1 because they just kind of talked about him. I said Nezha was an arrogant prick. Well, let's freaking reverse it now. And my hatred is for Alton and his little freaking shaman friend, Shaghan or whatever. Kara's brother. I don't know how you say it.
Shanghan or...
I don't know. But he's all like...
He's an arrogant prick.
He is. And see, I just wanted to consume her and be like... because it seems like when she gets pissed off or like her life is really in danger is when she can channel the Phoenix, which apparently that's... you can only channel one god. I don't know. But that's her chosen one, and I agree. I have a thing for the Phoenix, but that could be because my first car was a Firebird. And
first tattoo? No, yeah, second tattoo.
No, second or third? I don't know. One of the tattoos of my youth was the Firebird. And the car Firebird was bright red with ghost flames. But anyways. So, yes, we're all over the place. The tradition continues. But, what was I saying? Oh, I was wanting to punch Alton in the face. Anyways.
Well, just remember all these characters are very damaged.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's an understatement. So, are they all, or just the bizarre children?
Mainly talking about the bizarre children.
Okay. So, what else happened in part 2?
There was the assault on the ship.
Oh, yes, in the marsh, which was the first moment when she was expected to channel and she couldn't.
She failed.
She failed, but he still wasn't too gur about it.
Not yet.
It's like he progressively gets more mean. But, okay, well, remember, I guess I should have some empathy and think he's a new commander. He's trying to get along with these other divisions. He's got a lot riding on his back because essentially the other divisions have said, we don't really care for the idea that he's suggesting because there's talk of surrender. So we don't really care for it, but if it fails, then we can totally pin it on him.
Well, anytime anything fails, they can pin it on him.
Yeah, so I understand he's got a lot of pressure, but he's had years to learn how to control and channel, and I still don't even know if he's in full control. He may be in control of the fire, but the fact that he's all like this with his emotions, oh, I'm nice and friendly big brother, and I can be calm, cool, collected, and then I'm freaking... Are you really that much in control? So anyways, what else were we talking about? Oh yeah, so the marsh attack, victory for the bizarre children, and the Empress's side. Sort of. Feel free to jump in here.
Well, you're doing a good job.
I'm just rambling at this point, trying to remember things, because we actually finished this, or at least I finished this a couple days ago. So, it's not fresh.
Life got in the way of us recording sooner.
Not really, just laziness on my part.
Life.
So...
And then, well, remember the lieutenant, while he was being a dick to her, did take her up to the Pantheon. That's
Changhan, or however you say it.
Korra's brother.
Korra's, yeah, yep. Which, what is he in, like, because they, like, put a lot of, like, when is he coming back? Because he was off, I guess, scouting, gathering information.
He was doing missions for Alton.
And they were all like, when is he coming back? When is he coming back? So he must be, like, pretty powerful.
In his own way, he's probably the most powerful. Outside of another character, but I ain't gonna.
Right. We haven't met this character yet, or I need to learn a little more about him.
Can't talk about it.
Okay.
And then, there's a cool link between him and his sister, which comes into play later.
Because they're like attached twins.
Anchor twins.
Anchor twins. That was it. Anchor twins. So yes. Originally, him and Rin butt heads, but she finally gets to the I am freaking pissed off and tired of dealing with Alton's bullshit and moodiness. Help me out. And so they take a ride up to the sky.
And he runs into her block.
Which is the woman. Which we don't know more about her, though. We just know she's still there trying to get Rin not to...
Trying to save her.
Trying not to get her to meet up with the Phoenix God. And Chaghan says, meh, get out the way, woman, and makes her shatter.
Well, it took a lot out of him.
Yeah.
But
and then they go all the way up, and they run into someone, but it's not the Phoenix God, is it? It's a female. Because she does the hexagon or hexagrams.
He took her to a different god that does foretellings, or not foretellings, but readings.
Right.
And then he translates them into what they can understand.
Right.
And it goes off moon cycles, so you're limited to how many questions you can ask.
And what did they get out of this one?
Well, remember, he kind of took everything and put it together and was like, this isn't the place where the battle's going to be. Mm-hmm. So then he took that information to Alton, and Alton went down to a prisoner of war.
Because they gathered some when they were fighting. And
took the mask and all that.
Yeah, because there was gas released. That was kind of another turning point for Rin. There was gas released. Her and Nezha were trying to get the heck out of Dodge, but he fell or something. Mm-hmm. And the gas, she wanted to go back in and get him, but Alton wouldn't let her because he thinks he's spying and blah, 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 blah.
And it's not our division.
Yeah, it's not ours, exactly. And meanwhile, Alton's wearing a gas mask. He could have easily ran in and got him, but no. So anyways, but in that, yes, they get it's the Federation, right? They get a Federation prisoner. And
they torture him for information, basically. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, we never wanted this stupid port.
It's all a distraction. Mm-hmm. We're actually heading over here.
Yep.
So you look like you know something just based on that. Anyways. They also encountered, Nezha and Rin also encountered one of the creatures that, they think, that Jiang released at the first major skirmish.
That takes faces off its victims. Mm-hmm. And then can impersonate whoever it needs to impersonate for you.
Yep. But her and Nezha take it out.
Barely.
Mm-hmm. So, I thought it was funny, too, because she told him that this is what it does. Okay, first of all, she told him this is what it does. What was it called? I don't know, but nobody really had any experience with it, but Jiang made her read all these books, and one of the things that she read was about these, beast creature.
Was it Chime or?
Yes, because I think I was thinking, it's like Chimmy, but not Chimmy. So yes, she didn't really know how to take it out, but she knew about it. So she's explaining it to Nezha. Hey, this is what it does. It can alter its appearance and look like whoever needs to. And then what do?
They find
some random little girl, and because she's all acting like, meh, I'm scared, meh, it ain't my sister or whatever. And they're all like, Nezha's all like, don't worry, little girl, we're friends, not foes, blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, little girl's like, not little girl, because she says something about her sister. Her brother. And he's like, wait a minute, I thought you said your sister, or something like that. Poof! She's the Chimmy. Not the Chimmy, our Chimmy. But she's the Chimmy. And now he's frozen, because I guess apparently when they're in that state, of impersonation. It paralyzes whoever it's targeting. And so Rin's like there fighting. Remember, she's the one who told him all this. And I'm thinking, first of all, why are you just letting him walk up to this little girl? She could be. Turns out she is. And then the Chimmy impersonates someone that's close to Rin and she falls for it too. And I'm like, what are you people doing?
Is it like the horror movies? Why are you going up the stairs?
Yes! Why? Why? God!
Chuck a book.
I'm just like, what? But they end up getting out of it okay. But I'm like, really? So anyways.
So everyone has mental trauma.
I mean, I think I have mental trauma after reading that part. Gosh. I do have to say, though, I'm really, like, ready for 3. Like, I kind of was, like, wanting to film this during the week, like, right after we finished, so I could get into 3, but we had to wait a little bit. So, but yeah.
You're excited for 3.
I am. Well, and I'm also still a little, like, now that she's all like, all right, bitches, I'm gonna figure this shit out. I'm like, yeah. Y'all ain't gonna treat me like some Takani, whatever the name of her hometown, scum.
Well,
I'm sorry.
It's getting the emotions out of you that I wanted. I'm glad you, yes.
But so this part was good because I feel like you see at least 2 of the characters progress. One goes from being nice to being a dill hole. And one goes from being meek and scared and I don't know, there's probably another word I could think of to like, all right, strong, y'all ain't gonna be pushing me around. Hard-headed.
You?
Tough. Yeah, enough is enough, you know. So, I am a little, not sad, but, I mean, we only got a little bit of Kate action with all his cool gadgets he set up at the initial skirmish.
Well, he's not done.
So I'm ready to see what he's doing. He set up all these cool like catapults and log rolls and it was very cool sounding. So
you get to catch up with him.
Good. Was there anybody else I particularly cared for?
I don't think you cared about Vinka or...
Not really, or the medic team. Oh, one of the people died. Raban?
Oh, the one student that had graduated? Yeah.
Yeah, one. So we lost a student. We lost a few students, but he was one that they mentioned.
You said someone died. I'm like, in this series, yeah.
A few people have died, but his death really messed up Rin's academy roommate. What was her name?
Inky or...
No. Inky's a bizarre child.
Oh, yeah.
Starts with an N. She went into the medic field.
I didn't keep up with her.
But it really messed her up. So I don't know if we'll hear more about her. Maybe she'll freaking lose her mind and become a bizarre child. So, you never know. Alrighty. We good?
I think we're good.
Did I go all over the place enough?
Well, the emotion you had behind it was what I was,
Yes. Yep. Alrighty, so that would be our take.
Well, any predictions for part 3?
No, I mean, obviously, I think they're going to head to that place. What is it called? Like, it's 2 words. It starts with a G and an H or something. I don't know. I don't know. I think they're going to head there, obviously, because that's where the Federation is actually going instead of this port town. I think Rin's going to... I don't know, get a little closer to figuring things out, getting some control. I don't know.
Maybe a Jang sighting?
Maybe. We may encounter... I don't know how many creatures he released when he opened the void at the initial skirmish. But we've only encountered one. I'm assuming there was a couple. So we may encounter a couple more of those. I don't know. Maybe we'll learn a little more about the Empress. Okay, wait real quick before we go. When Tyr died, at the power of the Empress is the Viperess, right? The Gatekeeper, he felt the death, and it like kind of, I don't want to say shattered him, but he's disappeared. That's why the creatures that Jiang are uncontrollable, because they're out and about. Because he's not guarding the gate. Makes me think of Ghostbusters. But anyways, so...
Don't turn the power grid off.
Yeah, so... And he says something about, in feeling that death, he realizes that an enemy has returned. Are him and the Viper's enemies? But they're the trifecta. They all were together and something has happened to make them enemies.
I cannot confirm nor deny anything about the trifecta.
Can you at least tell me that we will maybe get a little more trifecta backstory at some point? That's
probably not in this book.
Okay. So I might have to keep on keeping on, and if I want to find that answer.
Maybe.
Okay. Alright, well I was just wondering, because I thought they were like a team.
They were the trifecta.
Yeah, because it's the Gatekeeper, the Viperess, and then isn't it the Great Tortoise?
One of the the Red Emperor.
Oh, where does the Great Tortoise fall into all this? Is he the one who assigned them?
The Great Tortoise made the Gatekeeper the Gatekeeper.
Okay. So are they like children of the Great Tortoise?
No.
Is the Great Tortoise over them?
No.
They're equals.
No.
Yeah, jeez. Okay, well, this is going absolutely nowhere.
I'm sorry.
On that note, we will wrap up our take, primarily mine, on part 2 of The Poppy War. Next time we see you, we will be doing part 3, which is the final part.
I want to see her reaction to that.
Oh, boy.
She's actually excited.
Yep, and we're out.
See ya.